Live. We're live, chaps. How are we all today? Everyone good?
Good.
Good.
All good.
Andy, you've sold your office, bud, by the looks of the board behind.
Yeah, good. Got a great offer from an avocado partner to take it.
Nice. The green wall is a big value adder, I believe.
Not if you saw it in person. It's a bit of a dodgy paint job.
As we let people come into the live conversation, it's always good to have a little catch up. Tristan, how are you? You're sat in HQ, bit of green wall behind you as well.
I certainly have. Yeah, good. Very good. I've not long got back in the office actually. Been out on a couple of appointments, a couple of emails of people potentially wanting to put their property on the market. So great emails to come back to.
Always good. Will, it's winter. It's cold, yeah?
It is winter. It is cold. But we've had a really busy day, which is good. I've had 3 valuations today. We've also had a take on as well. So watch this space. So it's been a really, really, really busy day. So everything is all good.
Explain to the lovely people watching what take on means in the real world language.
Oh yeah, sorry to everybody watching. We've got a lovely 3-bedroom masonette coming to the market. It's actually over in Woodley, but it's massive. It's got a private garden, garage as well. Yeah, it's really, really good. That will definitely go. So we're going to do a beat the portals on it tomorrow. So
nice.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Sounds good. If you're watching, as I always say, we're across a couple of different platforms. Please give us a like or a comment just to let us know that you can hear us. That would be fantastic. We're obviously going to have a conversation about the market, a few other bits and bobs as well. So share it to your personal page if you think there's people that kind of follow your Facebook page that might benefit from the conversation we're going to have. I think we've got Mike commenting at the moment. So it's not me on the brand page. So yeah, great spot in Woodley. Potentially one to talk to Tristan about. Maybe if an investor buys it, a 3-bed masonette would have probably quite an exceptional yield, I would think, for an investor.
Yeah, so I spoke to Mike already about this. So I'm going to be having a chat and popping out there to give an up-to-date figure.
Oh, nice.
You've got a hello from Lou, and on the basis that you're in that photo, Will, I think that's obviously someone close to you. So hello for watching.
probably hear me from downstairs.
Yeah, that's not your weekend name. That is your partner, I believe. So yeah, good to have you watching. Will, on that subject, you have been out and about. You've been busy in the community over the last sort of 2 weeks from what I see on your social media. Tell us about what you've been up to.
Yeah, so we have been busy. We've been very busy with the schools, actually. So last week we were with Uplands Primary School in Sandhurst. We've been doing a couple of bits with them, actually, but we were painting a room as they had a bit of a redeck over half term. So that was interesting. I won't show you what it looks like after we painted it, but yeah, it was certainly good fun. And then we have the school fireworks night, which we're sponsoring at Owlsmoor Primary School. So that is next weekend, actually. And I think they've sold just under 1,000 tickets. So if anyone's watching and they're interested in coming along, Owlsmoor Primary School fireworks show is going to be next weekend. So we will be down there.
That's my old primary school.
Come on.
Yeah, nice. I went there until I was, I think, about 9 years old, actually. So, yeah, I had the owl on my blue jumper. Loving life. Andrew, you've been doing a couple of videos on leaseholds, actually, really trying to sort of help people out that have purchased leaseholds, that own leaseholds. Really good, informative videos. So do you want to just give us a snapshot summary on some of the tips that you've been sharing with people?
Yeah, I think the most recent one was the EWS1 form, which until 12 months ago, I'll hold my hands up, never even heard of it. So I spent the last 12 months trying to understand it. Obviously, the Slough market is quite flat heavy, a lot of leasehold properties, and I just wondered how many people knew about it. Obviously, it's a huge requirement now to get a mortgage. It's a big deal, and I don't think it's mentioned very often. Without one, potentially your property is unmortgageable.
No, it's I think it's something that really has come to fruition since Grenfell, unfortunately, and as a result, it's now something which is much more significant for people that are in not high-rise flats, but anything kind of over 4 stories in reality. And it has actually, I found on a couple of leaseholds, it's actually caused quite a few problems with especially flats built in the last kind of 3 years, where the freeholder hasn't had a surveyor come out to do, or a fire assessor come out to do the form on all of the blocks. I think a lot of the freeholders actually felt that it was okay to just do it for one of the blocks because it was all the same building materials. And by not doing it on each individual block, it's caused an issue. So if you live in a block of apartments where it's not just one block and you've got multiple blocks, then it's definitely worth something checking, even if you're not thinking of selling in reality, because I think it's something that's important to know. So yeah, I can see you kind of nodding on that, Will. It's something that you've experienced in the past, is it as well?
Yeah, it's one of those situations that unless you know about it, like Andy said, it can just be a real headache. You know, there's been times in the past where properties have been sold and then actually suddenly it's month 3 and everybody's panicking, going, "Oh my word, we need this form. What is it? What does it mean?" So yeah, I watched that video. I think it's really informative. So good for anybody that owns a property like that. It's loads of useful information in there.
Yeah, no, brilliant stuff. Tristan, give us a little bit of an insight into a couple of the bits that you wanted to talk about from a landlord property investor perspective, just general kind of rental market. How's things going in the landlord world?
Yeah, so me and Mike were out recording today, doing our market update, monthly market update. So that'll be coming out Monday. So keep an eye on that. We'll go into a bit more detail in terms of what's happening, but to give you a slight overview, Good Lord released their price index earlier this month for October. And we've seen a boom for several months now with prices going up and voids reducing as well, which is great news. However, it doesn't go on forever. So Southeast England was actually the 3rd highest drop in rents last month by 14%. So quite a big drop, although there's no need to panic from a landlord point of view. From May and June, the figures are still higher than those months, and it's still up this year based upon an average of last year of 7.2%. So because of the massive crazy boom of prices we had, prices have dipped, which was expected, but they're still in a very good position. We are seeing more properties come to the market as well, which is great news as an overall. So hopefully that will continue to go that way. But then there's a couple of other bits that's also going on as well. So Landlord Register, for those that haven't seen it, has been pushed back until next year. Now, sorry, I've got my words mixed up then. So the Landlord Register is a blog I done last week, just with regards to what's going on potentially in the near future within the property market. So they're looking at implementing a Landlord Register, which at the moment across the country, there are selective licensing already in place in certain boroughs, which has come quite effective. Now, the question is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing for those landlords out there? There's a couple of things on the blog, and I'd like everyone to get involved in this really, because I've had mixed feedback from everyone. From what I've read in the areas that there is selective licensing, it has flagged up lots of unsafe properties in line. If you compare it to the ones that don't have the selective licensing, there's been far more reports of unsafe properties. Also, there's around £630 million worth of rent that is undeclared tax. So it's a way of obviously catching those people that don't declare their taxes. So it could be good in some areas, but the question is, how much is it going to cost? Is there going to be a lot of, is it going to be efficient, and how is it going to work in that basis? So I think there's lots of questions being fired out there of what people need to know.
There's a lot of detail there. And I think it's probably the sort of thing that the blog digests it, you know, in your own time, have a read of the blog and digest it. And if people have got questions around it, then definitely reach out. And I guess if you're a tenant, you know, locally, and you're sort of questioning, I know I've helped a few tenants with the kind of struggling, especially with private landlords in their kind of environment, if you like. So definitely reach out and have that conversation with Tristan. There's a lot of big changes there. As soon as you mention the word tax, I'm always nervous about having that conversation on a live chat. You never know in live TV what might happen. but yeah, that's definitely something to check out. The blog. Will,
There
you
is.
mentioned obviously the Masonette, which is something coming to the market. Anything you can tell us about on the valuations today? Any kind of sneaky insights into what might come to the market without giving the address away?
Yeah, so the 3-bedroom Masonette, first and foremost, is going to be coming on at 290,000. It really is massive, square foot wise. I can't quite remember what it is, but it's like bigger than some 3-bed houses. So that is definitely one to watch out. It's been newly renovated, I should say. So keep an eye out for that one. Yeah, I might have something also coming available next week in Crowthorne, which will be a 2-bed end of terraced house near the Greenwood Road Tesco. So keep an eye out for that one. I can't say too much at the moment because we haven't got it signed, sealed, delivered, as it were, but it's looking good. And then I also went to see a bungalow over in Sandhurst, again, 3 bedrooms, really, really nice as well. So yeah, I think it could be a good month. Put it that way.
If anyone's watching and they'd be interested in maybe asking the vendor whether they're happy to get a single off-market viewing on any of those types of properties, then obviously reach out to Will on his page. Ellen is I didn't think she'd be watching actually, because I know she's out for dinner tonight, but she was watching. She might have just popped off the chat, but I think it would be wrong not to say a massive happy birthday to Ellen, who is obviously partnered with Sanjay. She's 30 today, the big 3-0.
Wow.
So a massive happy birthday to Ellen. I tried to get her to sing for Chris actually a few weeks ago on one of these live chats, and she wasn't having it. So we're not under pressure to sing tonight, chaps, which we'll all be quite pleased, and so will the audience watching, because I am not a singer by any stretch. Andy, I'd imagine you've got some lungs on you. I would imagine you could get
when it's just me in the car, I sound amazing. But when there's people with me, apparently I'm no good.
Yeah, I know Tristan's good after a few tequilas.
Well, Will actually told me off there before we started he was going to do it, so I think he should do it now.
I think we'll leave it as a happy birthday, Ellen. Hope you have a cracking evening and obviously a big weekend. And it's fireworks weekend, isn't it? It's fireworks night tomorrow, bonfire night tomorrow, fireworks. I know I'm going to some fireworks on Saturday. Should be good fun. Definitely looking forward to those. Andrew, how are things in terms of conversations with mortgage advisors at the moment? How are you finding the market in general as we sort of come to the end of the year? Still got busy activity with buyers?
Yeah, I think I've had one recently, which sort of scared me a little bit, but actually it's worked out okay, where he's reapplied for the mortgage midway through the transaction because you can get a cheaper rate. And I was a bit worried it was going to cause delays, but a week later he's got the offer and we're moving forward. So not only has he got a cheaper rate, but he did it in a week, which I thought was a pretty good turnaround. But I think as a whole, obviously it's well publicised what the rates are doing, and we'll have to wait and see how long it continues for. But I've had another good chat with someone that's a limited company, and he's like, I've never realised how much I could borrow going that way. It's the limited company conversation, which I think we've had before about, is a limited company the right way to finance a property, etc., etc. So really hot, really good. I've experienced quicker turnaround times. I don't know about you three. They don't seem to be as busy as they were a couple of months ago, so transactions are going through quicker. It's in a good place, I feel.
Yeah, I think solicitors have got a little bit less on their hands, and I think they all know that typically at the end of the year there's that kind of mad rush to get things locked up before Christmas, even if it's just exchanging rather than completing. And I think a lot of solicitors this year, they're probably due a holiday. It's been a hectic year for solicitors, and I think they're probably trying to plan around not working in December, I would have thought. So I think they're trying to get their business done in November so that they can enjoy themselves over what has been quite a stressful year for them. And obviously that might see some transactions move forward as well. So last night we went to an awards evening, and the brand, the group, all of the Avocado partners, all of our vendors, landlords, tenants and buyers, we should really say thank you to all of the clients, because it's the clients that have kind of got us to this position. But Tristan's got the plaque in HQ. pleased to say we came back with the gold for Best Estate Agency Guide winner. So really, really over the moon with that. And it just shows that what we've done in the first year to be recognised. There was only, I think, about 30 estate agents last night that got presented with that across the country. So, and there was 1,200 agents in the room. So, yeah, really, really proud of that. Probably puts us in the top kind of 1 or 2% of estate agents in the whole country. So just shows that what we're trying to do for the public is working. And yeah, huge thank you to all of our clients for helping us kind of get to that position, really. So yeah, we're all over the moon this morning as we go into work with smiles on our faces, and Ellen's birthday as well. So nice little present there. So yeah, really, really good. Will, what's your sort of thinking on next year's market? Q1, sort of January, February, March. Inflation's obviously creeping up. Mortgage rates are still dirt cheap, although there's signs they might be going up a little bit, but I don't think that'll impact much. What's your thoughts on the market?
I think it will still be busy. I think that there's no shortage of buyers. I know, like you said there, it will depend partly on mortgage rates, and I know we're waiting to hear on those, but as it currently stands, it's still busy, still a shortage of property, particularly where, I work, Craythorne Sandhurst. There's not loads and loads of properties, but there are plenty of buyers. They do want to get into these areas. So I think it will remain busy. We've certainly got a few people that we've been in conversations with who aren't quite ready, even though it is a good time to sell now, don't get me wrong, who will be planning on a move next year. So, yeah, I can see Q1 being busy still. In fact, next year entirely, I can still being busy. So
there's definitely the appetite for it. Like you say, people's life has changed, as we mentioned before. And I think people are going into next year realising that time maybe to spend a bit more money around the house and expand the house is really important. And so many people obviously working from home, and in reality we've got the lockdown baby boom at some point next year is going to start to impact as well. There's definitely a lot more babies around at the moment. I know I've got a 5-month-old, so take that as you will. But yeah, I think that's going to get people moving as well. So Tristan, from a tenant point of view, obviously tenants move for all sorts of different trends and reasons, and it's always interesting to get an idea. Are they upsizing? Are they downsizing? Are they spending more money, less money? Are they coming together? Are they sharing, relocating, or just generally needing more space? But what's the general sort of feedback on tenant trends at the moment? Why are people typically moving into rented property?
Yeah, I mean, previously it was straight after lockdown, all the houses were being snapped up and there was loads of apartments sat on the market initially. And then eventually no houses were coming on and all the apartments follow suit, and there was just lack of stock throughout, and it's been like that ever since. I don't see the market changing going into next year personally, because there's still less stock than demand. Although I said the rental figures are down, applicant registration is still up. And from what I've read online, there's some agencies across the country that are still doing record-breaking numbers in terms of applicant registration. So personally, I don't see anything happening from that side. I think the only thing that may change, which I started to go into when I got my words mixed up, was the renters reform bill that's happening next year, where they're going to discuss the changes of abolishing the Section 21 notice, which is the no reason eviction essentially. They're changing the Section 8 notice, what they're going to do to strengthen that, and doing lifetime deposits. So I think depending on the announcements of that as well will depend on how the market remains personally. But until that happens, we won't know.
Interesting. Okay, well, we will see. Will, I saw you did a video recently on a lovely little one-bed, bottom of Crowthorne High Street. Just wondered while we're chatting if that property, is that still available? Is that got viewings at a certain time? How's that one going?
Yeah, certainly still available. So if anyone wants to see it, they're obviously get in touch. More than welcome to come and look at it. It's the perfect place really for a first-time buyer. Having said that, it's the perfect place for a landlord to pick up as well, because it's got a tenant in situ. He's very happy there. He'd love to stay there if he can. So yeah, it's a great spot. Obviously, walking distance to the high street, you can see there. You've got the Morgan Wreck just the other side of it, still available. So if anyone wants to see it, come and get in touch, and we'll show you around. But I think it will go soon, that's for sure.
Should we have a little look at the promo video so everyone can have a little look?
Let's watch the promo video.
Let's do it. Let's see if we can get this playing.
Hi, it's Will from Will & Mike Estate Agents. Today I'm delighted to present a one-bedroom, first-floor masonette just off of Crowthorne High Street. The property was constructed in 2013 by Tristan Developments. Let me show you exactly how close this is to the High Street. The property is literally just behind me here. As you can see, it comes with driveway parking. It even has a private rear garden. But before I take you in, let me show you what's on the doorstep. So here we are. Just behind me is the Crowthorne Morgan Wreck. This is perfect place for taking the kids to the park or taking the dogs for a walk. Now you've seen what's on the doorstep, let's go and take a look at the property.
As Will mentioned earlier, this fantastic home also does come with its own private garden. Follow me and I'll show you where it is. And just how impressive is this space here? Perfect for entertaining, those summer barbecues, and just look at how much space you get. If you think this might be your potential next property, or you'd like to find out any more information, give us a call, send us a message. We'd love to show you around for an exclusive viewing. Give us a call, send us a message. We'd love to show you around for an exclusive.
So there we go then. I could see you feeling a touch uncomfortable there, Will, as you were presenting. I caught you off a little bit guarded there. But quality video, and I thought it would be good to share that because it's a really good property down the bottom of Crowthorne High Street. Not very often something like that comes available, but it also gives everyone that's watching just a really good insight into the type of marketing videos that we do for all properties, be it a one-bedroom or be it a £10 million house. And there's a lot of time and effort that's gone into that creation of that video and the editing. What's the price of that one?
240,000.
In Crowthorne, bottom of the High Street with its own garden. It's an absolute bargain. Perfect for a downsizer, first-time buyer or an investor. Really, really cool video. So well done. Although you felt uncomfortable as it was live, it was a really good video. Mike is happy with your work and his work by the looks of it. He said strong marketing video. So appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. We've got Sanjay that's joining us. So like to say, if anyone's got a question, fire it in the comments. Just on a viewing, what's some great tips for evening viewings from Sanjay, who's out and about working? So it's obviously dark and cold now. Andrew, any quick fire tips for Sanjay as he enters his run of viewings this evening?
From Sanjay's perspective, wrap up warm. From a viewer's perspective, or a seller's perspective, should I say, just make sure the house is nice and toasty and warm. You want to come in and almost feel the warmth straight away and take your coat off and feel at home. That would be my top tip.
Will, anything to add? I know you've done lots of tips recently.
Yeah, and we do have another tip coming out shortly as well. So, or tips video coming out shortly about selling a vacant property. But in terms of tips for evening viewings, make sure it's nice and light. You know, make sure the house is well lit up, lights are on, ready for the buyer to come in. Don't want any sort of dark spots. Make sure the garden at the back is well lit as well. So it's not always easy to see the garden at this time of night. So if you've got a big light that you can just kind of get out there, make sure the bulbs are working.
Tristan, anything from you to add for tenants or buyers?
Yeah, I think those two are the main points. I think the other one is if obviously it's owner occupied or there's tenants in situ, just try and make it as clear as possible to make it as presentable as possible where you can. I think they're the three main things.
Yeah, I think the other thing to mention is now it's got dark early because the clock's changed obviously on the weekends. Make sure if you are selling or renting a property that you've got an agency board outside the house, because it's hard to see those house numbers when you're driving around as a buyer or a tenant looking to view. And just having the board outside the house for evening viewings is just really, really helpful for them to know where it is so that they're not traipsing up and down the road looking for numbers. I know a lot of agents sometimes, you know, have boards in different locations, but kind of outside the house is just great when it's evening stuff. So definitely they're the tips that I would say, Sanjay. But knowing you, I'm sure you've got offers coming your way this evening, and thanks for joining us in between. We've got Akil that's jumped on as well. Love the video quality and the content, and we appreciate that, Akil. He's obviously enjoying that video there from you and your business partner, Mike, Will, which is good.
Thank you.
Tristan, anything else that you want to cover or talk about? How is the podcast going?
That is exactly what I want to cover now. So podcast is going good. The downloads are actually far greater than what I was expecting. So that's great news that people are taking advantage of it. I've had a few positive messages as well from people on socials, just saying about what a great idea it is and how they took so much value from it. Just going on for tomorrow, we've got Mike, one of our own, on the podcast. So if everyone tunes into or goes on our website and clicks the link, you'll be able to download the from midnight tonight. It's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other channels as well as YouTube, where we have a video version. It's basically how to build a portfolio to suit your goals. And like I said, it's going to be Mike. He's a landlord himself. He's been in the property for many years now. So hearing from a man that's been there from a landlord point of view, a property manager point of view, and an agent point of view, I think it's best to come from the man himself. So we go into quite a lot of detail there of how to build it and the benefits of doing it correctly, along with some tips and tricks that may work to your advantage as well. So definitely tune in and have a look at that. There'll be a lot of information. And then going on from Andy's chat earlier about limited companies, we also released that podcast last week. So if you are having lots of questions from buyers, Andrew, then send them over to the podcast, because we go into detail with an accountant talking about the benefits of buying in a limited company or as an individual.
Yeah, we've got Darren from Styles & Co. Discussing exactly that. I know there's a lot of people in the trades at the moment that have earned a lot of money this year. The trades are really busy, and if you've got a big cash pot in your limited business and you're, you know, plumber, decorator, electrician, plasterer, whatever it may be, and you're thinking, I could buy a rundown property, make a lot of money, and potentially rent it out through my limited business. It's tax efficient if you've got the cash. The podcast last Friday will give you the answers to that. Last kind of point to cover, point being a pun, are electric points now for cars, is that something that we feel is a must? Is that something that people are mentioning? I know it's something that we put on the agenda, or is it to be something? Because electric cars seem to be becoming more and more volume based and popular. And I know when I've done viewings, a lot of people have said, oh, I wonder where we get the electric one on this particular property. But yeah, is that something becoming more and more significant for people? More Andrew, Will, I'll start with you, Will, if that's all right. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that crops up every now and again is, you know, could you get a charge point here? Could I put something in? Is it already there? I wouldn't say it's, you know, it's not the be all and end all at the moment, and it's probably not common. Having said that, you've seen the news and everything about everything going electric. So I suspect in the next few years it will become, quite a big talking point. And obviously you've got the hybrid cars and things at the moment, which I don't think need charging. But yeah, I suspect in the next probably 5 years we'll start seeing that a lot more. But at the moment it's not common. It's not a common question.
Not in your marketplace. Interesting. What about over in Slough, Andrew? Obviously, different markets, different people, different cars, I guess, from your point of view, how are you finding that?
I must admit, it's not something that I've come across yet. It's been, a throwaway comment, but it's not something that someone seriously looked at and discussed. But I was thinking about it today when I saw the agenda, and, I guess it's one of those, if we go back however many years, it's gas central heating versus electric central heating and combi boilers versus tanks. I guess it's just one of those that will just naturally flow into, has it got a charging point? But I guess as years come, it'll probably be quite important, because you imagine moving house, and I don't know how long the lead time is to get one installed. But, if it's a couple of weeks and you're in your brand new property and you can't charge your car for 2 weeks, it's going to be a bit of a nuisance having to pop down to the local Sainsbury's to charge up every evening. So, I don't know enough about electric cars. Someone can correct me if that's the case. But, I know you can't just plug it into a normal socket with an extension lead and crack on. It's probably going to cause problems.
Imagine just taking the lamp out and plugging in the car. I think it's something to watch, isn't it? We like to kind of read into trends and see what the future holds. And I think it's something to watch, especially since the whole petrol issue and the diesel issue that we've had recently. I know that's had a massive impact on electric car orders. It's just funny how these things force people into what they've been thinking to do a little bit quicker. So we'll see what comes around. Gents, flown by this evening. Will, were you about to say something then?
Yeah, I was going to say, are tenants asking for charge points, or are tenants looking out for properties with charge points? Just on that,
Yeah, so in the last 12 months, I've only had 3 people inquire on that. 2 took properties, and they've had permission to have one installed themselves, because they requested that they do that on the offer. The other person didn't find for us, but they were specifically looking for one with one. Other than that, it's not been a question, and recently I haven't had it at all.
Yeah, I wonder if developers that are now building blocks of flats are obviously thinking about building car parking spaces with electric chargers, much like you'd see in a multi-story car park. You can always get space, can't you, with an electric charger? That's one thing that I'd say. Normally on the ground floor as well. But I wonder if developers are thinking about that now, that it's something they're going to start installing as we move forward. So yeah, interesting stuff. We've gone past 8:30. I know everyone's probably getting ready for dinner, and we've covered loads of different things on property there. Love the video that showed. Great to hear about the podcast going on, Tristan. Like I say, and if you own a flat or a leasehold, check out Andy Humphrey's Facebook page. He's got some really good videos on there about that. Obviously, be it from Slough, but leasehold, he's pretty much covering everywhere, really. So check out that, follow his page for that as well. Yeah, we're over the moon with the award last night. So thanks to all of our clients that have helped us get to that point. Happy birthday to Ellen. We'll be back at 6 o'clock next Thursday. And if you're watching this and we're not live, you're just watching the repeat of it. We see all the comments. We'll answer them all. So yeah, if you think someone will benefit from the video, share it. Give us a like, because we always love a like, and feel free to comment in the comments, and we will answer it at any point over the next couple of weeks whatsoever. So, gents, have a good fireworks evening, whichever day you're going. Keep up the good work in the community, Will. Tristan, loving the podcast. Andy, loving the content. And yeah, see you all soon.
See you later.